A new GTA Online update has hit the streets of Los Santos this week, and we've finally got some decent payout adjustments that'll have all of the solo grinders out there earning stacks and stacks of cash in no time at all. A large focus of the update revolves around the Acid Lab, which has a 1.5 times money bonus applied, and in this video I'll be covering all that you need to know to get the most out of the business, along with everything else the event week has to offer. To get started with the Acid Lab, you will of course need to already own the Brigade 6x6, which will become your base of operations for the business. The cheapest and most advised way of doing it is by completing the first dose missions, where on the final installment you'll be tasked with stealing the Brigade from the back of a train and taking it back to the freak shop where it can be converted into the Acid Lab. The missions kick off up in Sandy Shores and can be started following a phone call from Ron, who will contact you shortly after loading into the game, where he'll tell you to meet him over there. After completing the missions and acquiring the Brigade, all you need to do is come over to the mechanic at the freak shop and pay the $750,000 to get it converted with everything you need for the new business. But on top of that, you'll be given the option of upgrading the equipment as well. It'll eventually cost $250,000. However, you will need to complete 10 of Dax's annoying ass Fooligans jobs, which can be kicked off by calling him on the phone and requesting work. Most of the missions are honestly pretty garbage, some more so than others, but ultimately I still highly advise that you get them done. Without the equipment upgrade, the Acid Lab is next to useless and barely turns out a profit. But with the upgrade, it's literally the best passive money in the game, and something that everyone should consider incorporating into their routine. With the 50% bonus applied this week, the Acid Lab will be churning out over $100,000 per real life hour, as long as you keep it stocked up with supplies. Compare that to when it's not upgraded and you can start to see why I say it's a pretty crucial addition. Even with the bonus, the money still isn't great. But if you want to boost those profits even higher, make sure that you come over to this corner inside the Brigade and select the option to boost the production speed. When upgraded, that will reduce your overall production time from 4 hours to 3 hours, and increase your profit margins to a tasty $167,000 an hour. I mean, that's pretty bloody decent if you ask me, especially considering the only thing you have to do is keep the business topped up with supplies every hour or two and you're as good as gold. The best and most efficient way of doing that is of course buying the supplies by calling Mutt, so that you can then go and make money elsewhere while the product builds. It only costs $60k for a full rack of supplies, and if you've got the business upgrade, it will only take about 1.5 of those orders to fill up the product completely. If however you don't have the upgrade, or you simply can't afford to buy the supplies, you might be better off stealing them instead. But thankfully, that couldn't be easier this week, and the event is also offering up 2 times supplies for every mission that you do. Which is good news honestly. Supply missions are painful at the best of times, and any boost is always a welcome addition. Granted, it does take a bit of time to set everything up and do all of the first dose missions, but considering all of the gains the Acid Lab brings, I'd say it's totally worth it. Especially when you consider that the first dose missions will bring in over 500k in cash just for finishing them. The best part about the Acid Lab though is compared to the other supply-based businesses, it couldn't be more solo player friendly when it comes to the sale missions. Even when you're at max capacity like I am at the moment, indicated by the little red icon on the minimap, you'll still easily be able to complete the mission by yourself. Unlike the bunker and biker businesses which spawn multiple vehicles, the Acid Lab only equips product to your delivery bike. So if you're going solo, you'll be guaranteed to have a 1 vehicle sale every single time. I mean, don't get me wrong, the missions can still take a while and will sometimes have you traveling all over the map, but it is so much less painful than having to drive around a multitude of postal vans or seaplanes. None of the sale missions should take more than 15 minutes or so, and upon completion, if you had a full Acid Lab to begin with, you should get paid just a bit over 500k for your troubles. And I mean, that's bloody good money if you ask me, especially considering how quickly it builds and how easy the whole process is compared to just about every other business in the game. But with it taking around 3 hours to build up product, the only problem that then remains is how we're going to fill our time in between sales. Well, unfortunately, we're a bit dry on bonuses this week, and for the most part, you'll be wanting to resort to the standard money-making methods revolving around Cayo Perico, payphone hits, contracts, sale missions, and so on. If you need a bit of direction with that, I'll be sure to link my advanced step-by-step money-making guide down in the description below, where I go over the most efficient grinding method currently in the game. But if you're looking for a bit of that game mode goodness to break up your day, well, the good news is we've got a 2x money and RP bonus on deadline. Normally I don't get too hyped about a game mode, but this is honestly one of my favourites. It's super fast paced and a lot of fun. Definitely give it a try if you haven't already. Overall, I'd say it's a pretty solid event week. As a quick recap, we've got 1.5 times money and RP on all Acid Lab sales, 2 times supplies for all Acid Lab source missions, and 2 times money and RP on the Deadline Adversary mode. I know it might leave a bit to be desired for players who are wanting something a bit more substantial, and honestly, I feel that. I love a big action-packed event week as much as the next guy. But considering how dry they've been for the past 3 or 4 weeks, I'm just happy that Rockstar finally implemented a decent business and game mode bonus. If you need any additional help with the Acid Lab or the first dose missions needed for setting it up, I'll be sure to include links to my dedicated guides down in the description below. But if you enjoyed this one, hitting the like button really does help out a lot, and if you're new to the channel, then definitely think about subscribing to stay up to date with all things money making in GTA Online. And of course, if you've got any questions or you just want to reach out and have a chat, be sure to connect up on either my Twitter or my Discord. But until we meet again, you bunch of legends, I am Red Knight Traits, and I'll catch you on the next one.